Greetings to all. Welcome to Future of Business Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of September 25. So today we are going to discuss the topic of Army to receive Apache choppers in December, deploy LCH in Ladakh next year. So which comes under prelims perspective. Our next topic is about India's railways to overhaul aging signaling systems for better safety. So which comes under GS3 Indian economy. Next, based on moon suggest it had volcanoes more recently than thought. So which comes under prelims perspective. Next, what are the retractions and why do they matter? So this which comes under GS3 science and technology. Next, why the fact checking until was invalidated. So this comes under GS2 Indian polity. Next, we'll be seeing the editorial analysis. Our first topic is about Army to receive Apache choppers in December, deploy LCH in Ladakh next year. So we have to know why it is in news currently. The Indian Army is set to receive its first batch of 3 AH-64E Apache helicopters in December after a 6-month delay due to supply chain issues. Additionally, the indigenous light compact helicopter will be deployed in Ladakh next year, designed specifically for high altitude operations. So with this, we have to know about this helicopter. So their origin is from Boeing, that is from USA. Next, their type is attack helicopter designed for multi-role combat. Next, their specifications: twin engine, four-bladed rotor, max speed of 279 km per hour. Next, they are advanced systems equipped with modern avionics, target acquisition systems, and night version capabilities. Next, their role: it is used for close air support, anti-armor operations, and armed reconnaissance. Next, their deployment in India is: India signed a deal with Boeing for 6 Apaches for the Army at cost of around $800 million in February 2020. Next, the indigenous light compact helicopter. Their origin is designed and developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL) India. Their type is multi-role light attack helicopter. Their specification has two engine, maximum speed of 268 km per hour, 5 to 8 ton weight. Next, they armament equipped Mistral air-to-air missiles, 200 terminal gun and rockets. Next, their role: specifically built for high altitude warfare, ideal for operations in places like Ladakh and Siachen. Next, their unique capability is it can perform in extreme cold and high altitude areas, that is up to 16,000 feet. So our next topic is about Indian Railways to overhaul aging signaling systems for better safety. So why it is in news? The Indian Railways has initiated plan to replace aging signaling systems that have exceeded their operations lifespan, addressing safety concerns following recent train accidents. The plan for reliability improvement and maintenance effectiveness, that is PRIME, aims to enhance reliability, reduce capable cuts, and improve staff training to prevent future incidents and to ensure safe train operations. So in this, first we'll be seeing the aging signaling system in Indian Railways. First, the aging infrastructure. Several signaling systems in the Indian Railways have outlived their recommended codal life, leading to increased failures and safety risks. Next, the impact on operations. Aging signals have caused disruptions such as delays in train operations, posing potential risk of accident. Next, the recent accident is notable accident including the Balasore triple train collision, that is in June 2023, which killed 291 people, have been linked to the signaling failures. Other rear end collisions in Walter and Kaitiar divisions also highlight these concerns. What are the future steps taken by the government here? The first thing is replaced of outdated signal asserts. So that is, the Indian Railways has initiated the replacement of signaling systems that have outlived their codal life to enhance operational safety. The next thing is Prime Initiative. A plan for reliability, improvement, and maintenance effectiveness, that is PRIME, was rolled out to improve the reliability and maintainability of signaling systems. Next, the third is staff training. Special focus on training staff across departments on the new systems and safety protocols to ensure operational efficiency. The next thing is cable cut prevention. Cable cut prevention. So, addressing frequent cable cuts along tracks to minimize signaling failures, a key cause of disruptions. Next, the safety emphasizes. So, Railway Minister prioritized the independent execution of these replacements without affecting ongoing infrastructure projects, ensuring shift modernization. Next, finally, the accident prevention. The overarching goal is to minimize accidents through upgrade signaling through an improved operational protocols. So the next thing is beach on the moon suggests it had volcanoes more recently than thought. So why it is in news? A reason that reveals the moon may have had volcanic activity as recently as 120 million years ago, challenging previous beliefs that it ceased around a billion years ago. Researchers analyzed lunar glass beads from the Change E5 mission indicating ongoing volcanoic process despite the moon cooling interior. So now, the researchers from the Chinese Academy Science analyzed lunar glass beads collected by the Chang E5 mission, focusing on the formation from volcanic eruptions and impacts. The study identified specific glass beads indicative of volcanic origins through their chemical composition and unique isotopic signature. Three volcanic samples were accurately dated using uranium-lead radiometric dating, revealing ages between 116 and 135 million years. The presence of minerals like potassium and rare earth elements in the beads indicates they contributed to the volcanic heat necessary for eruptions. The findings open new avenues for research, particularly regarding how volcanic activity persisted despite the moon's cooling interior. Future Indian Chandrayaan mission may further explore the moon's volcanic history and search for preserved lunar ice that may contain gases from past eruptions. So that's all from this topic. Our next topic is about what are the retractions and why do they matter. So why it is in news? Retraction in scientific literature are increasing due to misconduct, errors, and the influence of paper mills. Retraction cases highlight a crisis in research integrity with significant implications for trust in scientific findings. Addressing the cause and improving oversight are essential for maintaining the credibility of academic work. So with this we have to know about what is retraction. Retraction is a formal withdrawal of a published scientific paper from academic literature due to significant errors, misconduct, or fraudulent data. It serves as a mechanism for correcting the scientific record, maintaining accountability, and preserving the integrity of research. Retractions are issued when the findings are deemed unreliable, ensuring that the academic community recognizes the flaws and preventing the dissemination of misleading or inaccurate information. Next, what is the retraction index? So, the retraction index measures the frequency of retractions within a specific time frame relative to the total number of published articles. It is calculated by multiplying the number of retractions by 1,000 and dividing by the total articles published with the higher impact journals exhibiting a greater likelihood of retractions. So why do scientists prefer retraction? Researchers may opt for retraction when errors are identified to maintain scientific integrity and accountability. Retractions allow for corrections in the scientific record, serving as a mechanism for self-regulation within the academic community. Next, the impact of retraction. Retractions can severely damage reputations, funding opportunities, and institutional credibility. They create mistrust among scientists and in the scientific literature, affecting the broader perception of research reliability. The increased rate of retractions indicates a growing concern about the quality and ethics of scientific research. So, how can we control this? To mitigate retractions, there is a need for better oversight and rigorous peer review process in academic publishing. Implementing training on research ethics and integrity for researchers can help reduce instances of misconduct. Journals could leverage technology such as AI to detect potential issues in submitted papers before publication. A shift in academic culture from publish or perish to valuing quality and quantity in research outputs may also curb the prevalence of retractions. So that's all from this topic. Our next topic is about why the fact checking unit was invalidated. So, why it is in news? The Bombay High Court ruled the government fact checking unit unconstitutional, criticizing its vague terminology and potential for censorship. This ruling raises important questions about the balance between combating misinformation and safeguarding freedom of speech and expression in India, prompting a re-evaluation of the government's approach to online contact regulation. Next, we have to know about fact-checking unit. The fact-checking unit was established under the amended Information Technology, that is Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Amendment Rules 2023. It empowered the Union government to designate any information regarding its operation as fake, false, or misleading. Social media intermediates are mandated to take reasonable efforts to prevent users from uploading flagged content and required to remove such content with 36 hours to maintain safe harbor protection against liability for third-party content. Next, their court's invalidation rationally. So, on September 20, 2024, the Bombay High Court ruled the FCU and amended rules as unconstitutional and vague. Justice Atul Sharashchandra Chandrakar articulated that the rules exhibited manifest arbitrariness, infringing upon the fundamental rights to freedom of speech and expression protected under Article 19, Class 2 of the Constitution. The terms fake, false, or misleading were criticized for being overboard and vague, allowing for subjective interpretation and potential misuse by the government. The absence of procedural safeguards meant the government could act as judge in its own cause under determined impartiality. The court emphasized that the rules could create a chilling effect on intermediaries, jeopardizing their legal protections. Now, what are the way forward for the government here? The Union government is likely to appeal the ruling in the Supreme Court to uphold the FCUs and amend IT rules. It may be necessary for the government to revise the rules to include clearer definitions, procedural safeguards, and mechanisms that ensure transparency and accountability. The implications for similar fact-checking units in states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka need careful consideration to ensure compliance with the ruling. Engaging with stakeholders, including media, organizations, and civil society, may help in formulating guidelines that balance misinformation control with the protection of freedom of speech. So, our next topic is about editorial analysis. Under editorial analysis, we'll be discussing the topic of NCRF as a framework for well-rounded education. First, we have to know about the context. The article emphasizes the transformative reforms of Indian National Education Policy 2020, particularly the National Credit Framework. It highlights the flexibility of NCRF offers in balancing vocational training and knowledge generation, urging higher education institutions to adapt to evolving societal and economic needs for long-term progress. Next, their introduction. Some critics argue that the spirit and structural reforms of the National Education Policy 2020 are unsuitable. The viewpoint reflects cognitive inconsistency and axiomatic irrationality. The NEP 2020 is a visionary document aimed at transforming India's education system, distancing it from colonial mindsets. One of the key reforms introduced by the NEP is the National Credit Framework, which provides a flexible and integrated template for school, higher vocational and skill education. So with this, we have to know about the new education policy. The NEP is a vision document that provides a broad contour of how education can be transformed in India while getting away from the clutches of colonial mindset. The Nation Credit Framework is one of the several transformative reforms that are derived from the NEP, providing a flexible template for educational institutions offering school, higher vocational and skill education. Using the NCRF, higher education institutions can give an unified accumulation and transfer of credits across multidisciplinary education, including skill education. The NCRF is an enabling framework rather than a regulatory one. So we have to know more flexibility for students. So flexibility for student credits, such as when HEIs adopt the NCRF, students can earn credits in various activities provided they undergo an assessment. The NCRF gives students the flexibility to earn credits from classroom teaching, laboratory work, adult tinkering laboratories, research projects, assignments, tutorials, sports and games, yoga, the performing arts, music, handicrafts, social work, national career crops and national service scheme activities, vocational and skill education, minor and major projects of the job training, internships, apprenticeships, and experiential learning. Also, by providing flexibility and broad-based educational opportunities through the NCRF has unearthed some who are deeply rooted in the conventional ways of imparting higher education. Now, the issues with the nature of NEP is the position of those few who remain bafflingly immune to dynamic and forward-looking nature of the NEP 2020 is inherently problematic. The dismissive attitude towards the curriculum changes based on NCRF shows their unwillingness to understand India's societal, technological, and educational needs. Next, the need for dynamism. This is precisely why India's higher education system should steadfastly remain dynamic and relevant to the country's needs to avoid the risk of becoming obsolete. Next, the ensuring flexibility. In keeping within the inevitable rapid economic and technological changes, the NCRF aims to help institutions remain flexible and competitive. Next, by promoting skills and revising the curriculum, keeping the current and future evaluation of job recommends there is only one solution: revise the curriculum so that it in tune with the NCRF. Next, emphasizes on training. Any view that HEIs should remain the place for the sole purpose of training students only to become knowledge procedures is an outdated and obstinate refusal to see the reality. Next, emphasis on skill upgradation. So in the modern world, HEIs, besides being heavens of knowledge, must equip students with the skill and competencies needed for emerging roles and self-employment. Next, the path of growth. However, such a dual role is possible only when HEIs adopt the NCRF and allow students to pursue their academic and career goals. Next, the continuous adaptation is the key. So we must not promote an elitist brand of higher education by the not supporting reforms in higher education. These reforms are necessary for democratization of education and social equity. HEIs must continuously adopt and reinvent themselves in response to changing circumstances. Having a few hinder efforts in transforming higher education in HEIs can lead to stagnation and compromise the effectiveness of our institutions. The NEP 2020 also advocates the multidisciplinary education and research university concept. The focus of such HEIs would be the serve of nurses for scholars and intellectuals. However, such an university should not be considered an end on itself, and many other HEIs should also focus on vocational and skill training to enhance the employability of students. So when students acquire practical skills and knowledge through flexibility curriculum, as envisaged in the NCRF, higher education will become a tool for students to increase their social mobility. Next, on vocational and skill training. Depending on the nature of HEIs, institutions can lay emphasis on vocational and skill training, focus on fundamental research, innovation and intellectual pursuits, and ensure that knowledge production and skill training coexist as deeply interconnected process. The bottom line is those who acquire vocational and skill training can be impactful as those who produce new knowledge. The primary objective of the NCRF is to help HEI balance vocational and skill training or knowledge generating academic pursuits so that HEIs play a pivotal role in shaping individual futures and societal progress. So that's all from today's topics. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been given in description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.